Hello there and welcome back to my channel. I am the Rogue Witcher. If you're new here, I do content on all things Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Harry Potter, all things sci-fi and fantasy related. If you like the channel, please remember to hit the like button. I'm setting this video a like target of 10 just to try and help me beat that pesky YouTube algorithm. Feel free to leave a comment down below your thoughts and of course subscribe for all future content. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. Zack Snyder, James Gunn. Where do we begin? The Snyderverse versus DCU. It's a very heated topic online out there. There's very passionate and dedicated fans. Some might say overzealous and go a bit too far. But with the recent photo surfacing online that everyone's talking about, everyone's wondering, is Zack Snyder coming back? Is the Snyderverse coming back? Is the Gunn universe failing? You know, there's reports out there saying that Superman Legacy, the testing audiences isn't doing very well. Well, here's how I view it all. Zack Snyder. I am a fan of Zack Snyder. I like Zack Snyder. I like his work. I admit his the way he makes films, his style, it's not for everyone. You know, it can be a bit Marmite at times, but I personally like Zack Snyder. I also like James Gunn. I like his work and his style. Two very opposite ways of making movies, shooting movies, and style of movies. So I don't quite get the comparisons between the two, just because some will have handled DC projects. Zack Snyder's was a dark, gritty take on the DC universe and characters. I personally appreciated it. I love Man of Steel. I think it's a fantastic Superman movie. I like the way he had Superman portrayed and Clark Kent. I think it was very, aggressive and dark and gritty, which is how I want DC to be and how I like DC to be.
Do you bleed?
Batman vs Superman, especially the Ultimate Edition, I thought was again a phenomenal movie. I love it. I love the way he portrayed Batman as a dark, figure that we know Batman is, but the way he, lost his way a little.
Do you bleed?
Going down that road, Alfred summed up perfectly. It's enough to make a good man turn bad.
Turns good man. Cruel.
The fear and envy almost of Superman and what he can do and the possibilities of what he could do. No, I loved it. And well, Zack Snyder's Justice League is my favourite all-time superhero movie.
What, are you kidding me?
I love it. I am a little biased, I will admit. Don't be fooled with the background. I am always DC over Marvel.
DC.
Not because of anything, because Marvel make better movies, they make better shows. But in terms of my connection to the characters, I've always preferred DC characters to Marvel and connected with them more.
You suck.
I also, though, love James Gunn. I love his style. Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, Peacemaker.
Oh, Peacemaker! Yes!
Phenomenal films, comedic, entertaining action, a perfect blend, I feel. The way he also tackles characters that are a bit misfits, outcasts, not maybe massively known characters, and can spread a spotlight on them. I love the way he handles making of these films. You're on a bit of a journey, an emotional tie, an emotional journey with humor, and I just love the way it flows, his films. You're on a ride, you're on a journey, and I always love the end destination most of the time.
Dance off, bro. Me and you.
I admit I wasn't huge on his Suicide Squad, but I did like, parts of it.
Boo!
This whole rage, because I see it online, there's so much hatred out there, and it's ridiculous, personally, for me. You can be a fan of both, you can be a fan of neither, you can be a fan of one and not the other. But there's no need to be abusive or aggressive against each other. There is no right or wrong answer. I don't like the, oh, that's a terrible film, you're wrong, you're rubbish. No, you're not correct. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion and their view. And if you think that Zack Snyder's films are brilliant, then they are. And if you're a person who doesn't like them and doesn't think they are, then they're not. It's all about to the individual person and taste. This whole, no, that's rubbish just because it didn't cater to your taste doesn't make it so. Otherwise, we'd all like the same things and dislike the same things and it would be boring. Same with food, Some people like this chocolate bar, some people like another. There is no that's better than that. It's down to your individual taste. And it's the same with movies. What I don't want is people being overzealous and aggressive towards another fandom out of jealous or envy. It's silly. At the end of the day, the Snyderverse is done. Now, I'll tell you up front, I loved the Snyderverse. Did it have its faults? Of course it did. especially with studio interference and higher ups editing and changing films based off of what some of the box office success with Marvel and felt that they need to do. Hence why we even needed a Zack Snyder Justice League cut. Hence why we don't have the actual cut of the Suicide Squad film, because they go in, they change, they edit on studio interference rather than letting the creatives create and let them crack on. And that's why we're in the mess we have today. They handled DC poorly. I wanted an end, at least, to the Snyderverse, because I think it's only fair to the fans who loved it and paid hard-earned money for tickets to the, the films, the merchandise. Some people like me who's got a couple of DC tattoos from that universe. It's only fair, but they didn't, and we have to accept that. We campaigned, it didn't come off. Now we have to get behind James Gunn. James Gunn is a fantastic, storyteller, director, and I really can't wait to see what he's doing. He's going for more a traditional comic book style superhero universe. I like it. I like the look of what he's trying to emulate and do. It's more colourful, more bright, more cheery, if you will. And I know this is going to sound silly, but a bit more superhero-y, whereas Zack's take was a bit more in reality, dark and gritty take on if superheroes and things like that existed. He's leaning into the mythology and the superhero, side and, fantasy side, which is a bit unbelievable, but that's what it is. It's fantasy. It's not supposed to make sense in a way. There's a bloke flying in the sky in a cape, for God's sake, you know what I mean?
Is it a bird?
Is it a plane?
Listen, I'll be honest, mixed thoughts on the trailer for me for Superman, but I'm going to give it a go. All these people that are out there slandering it, we don't know. You've got to give it a chance. And why would you wish ill upon this universe just because, it didn't work out for Zack? No, we have to give it a chance. I want good DC. I want good DC films. At the end of the day, although I am a Zack Snyder fan and James Gunn fan, I'm a DC fan and I want good DC content, whoever's making it. I like the idea of one whole universe when they're going to link animated stuff, TV shows, films, maybe even comics, and it's all part of one universe. Maybe one day, if things go well, we can get a finish to the Snyderverse and an Elseworlds project. Who knows? Maybe Zack is coming back after that picture and that meeting. He could direct to the Authority. I think he'd do really well with that. But I think the reason I made this video is there's no need for all this aggression and anger out there. It's silly.
Be the peacemaker.
These two are friends. They're both very talented people in their own right. I love Zack's work on Rebel Moon. Again, it's not for everyone. I said Marmite, I believe it's very 50-50 out there, especially when you look at certain reviews and that. Does he overuse this? Does he, use slow motion just a little too much? Yes. Sometimes he makes the story a little longer and, abrupt than it needs to be, maybe. But no, I like Zack's way of storytelling, and I like James's. It's completely different, and I like both styles for different things. I'll admit, is James Gunn's style best suited to a Superman movie? I don't know. If his way of doing things is going to suit Superman, but I'm definitely rooting for it to do well because I want a good Superman movie. I want a good DC. And the only way to get a good DC is having films like Superman and Batman being successful, because they're the core characters, the main characters, and they need to lead from the front. I believe the way he's building the universe, I like it. It's already established. I spoke on this before in an earlier video. I like the way it's emulated the animated universe they had not too long ago, where it all starts where everyone's already heroes and, we can fill in the past with flashbacks and clips here and there, but we're starting off strong. And we're going to go into a universe that's already started and expand into it and onto it, which I like the idea of. We just need to give the Superman movie a chance. Forget critic reviews that we're hearing about. Critics, they're all over the place. They think some films are good that we think are great or bad, and vice versa. At the end of the day, it's about the fans and their taste and their thoughts, because it's about the fan success that will determine if more films and all that continues, because we're the ones that generate the profit and the money from the views, the merchandise, the buying things, not critics. They're not out there to love and support and generate money from these films. It's the fans. And also we need to be aware that it's not all about just us diehard superhero comic book fans. You also have to appease the casual market and the casual audience. And I think that's what Zack did very well, which a lot of the diehard fans don't like, is that he did different takes and different styles and had different views of certain characters and the way they behaved in the comics, and made it in more a modern image in his version, which some didn't love and some did. Where can we go from the future? I think it would be great if James did bring Zack in. One, it stops the people hating on each other, in my opinion, a lot less. Being like, haha, James is above Zack, if he uses Zack, because then it shows that James has faith in Zack. And also the fact that then the Zack fans can't, you know, be against the James fans for being jealous that he's took over when he's brought Zack in and included him. What would I do with Zack? It's interesting. There's 3 projects. I know a lot of fans aren't going to like when I say this. I'd love to see Zack's take on a Batman movie, depending on who the Batman is as well. I'd love Jensen Ackles to get cast as the Batman in Brave and the Bold. I really would. But I'd love Zack to tackle a Batman movie. I think The Authority, you know, would be really good if he's going to use him in his DCU. I think he'd really be able to tell that story well. Maybe go similar in the way he did Watchmen. But I also have a little outlier, and I've seen a couple of people mention it as well. I'd love Zack to do a Red Sun take on Superman. You know, we got the animated movie a couple of years ago. I really liked it. I thought it was brilliant. And if he could get Henry Cavill back, I know that's going to be controversial. He could really go dark with that, because it is a dark, you know, it's, you know, you can't offend people having Superman be dark, classic, you know, white bread, you know, farm Kansas boy Clark Kent. When you're going for the Soviet Red Sun storyline, you can go dark. He does go dark, and really get that gritty, evil, maybe even, you know, killing people take on Superman. I think Zack would love to bring to life, that he was going to try and show in parts in his you know, take, that he was going to go down with the Justice League route with Darkseid. But no, I think the Red Sun Elseworlds movie is a great idea, and one that he could do. I doubt that'll happen, because right now I think they really and are going to be focusing primarily the DCU rather than Elseworlds projects. I know we have the Batman we're waiting for, the sequel, and of course Penguin. But for me, I really wouldn't mind seeing that. But I understand if they don't go Elseworlds just yet, and they really just focus more on the DCU. Final thing for me is to people out there that love one or the other, or both, let's just keep it respectful. There is no right or wrong answer. Why offend someone for no reason when you don't need to? It can be, oh, you love Zack's films. I personally don't. He's not for me. But hey, as long as you enjoy him, that's all that matters for you. Same with James Gunn. Oh, I'm not a big fan of James, but hey, if you like him, that's good. I just don't think it's good for me personally. And that's all it needs to be. Not this, oh, that's better than that, and that's childish. Come on, let's act adult.
Be the peacemaker.
And, you know, there's reasons that fans, you know, like what they do in different fandoms. You know, there'll be a TV show out there that your mate can't stomach, yet you think's one of the best. It's all about individual taste, as I've said. And let's come together. Let's stop tearing each other apart as superhero comic book fans. You know, it's silly, it's childish, and let's leave it behind. You know, they're friends. They've come together. There's crazy fans on both sides. It's not, you know, it's definitely not just one or the other. There's crazy Snyder fans. There's crazy Gunn fans. And I think, like Henry Cavill said in an interview recently, you know, people, you know, are they crazy? They have a right to be passionate because it means so much to them. But let's make sure we're passionate in the right way. That's all I'll say. Yeah, so why don't you guys tell me what you think it all meant? The latest picture, are they teasing something to come for the future? Or are they just two friends meeting up to have a discussion and catch up on old times? I think it could mean something. I think it could be about something in the future. I hope it is anyway. But yeah, that's just me. Drop a comment down below what you think. Are you a Snyder fan? Are you a Gunn fan? Are you both? Are you neither? You know, do you want the Snyderverse to be brought back, or do you want just a fresh, clean slate with the DCU and really get behind that? What's your thoughts on the upcoming Superman Legacy film? Are you excited, nervous? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps new YouTubers like myself out, because it gets us out there, it gets us into the algorithm, you know, and just helps me be seen. But yeah, that's all for today, guys. I hope you liked my video on the old Zack Snyder James Gunn debate. And yeah, I will catch you in the next video. As always, adios.